everyone, Kathy the Vegan Prepper here with another vegan weekly meal plan, and this time we're going to be discussing some of the logistics of using Google Calendar for your meal planning and some of the perks of doing so. Vegan Prepper, Vegan Prepper. Okay, I obviously have not finished filling in the meal plan, but just the very first thing I want to show is, for instance, this lentil potato soup was insanely good. I want to make it again. So it had a link attached so that I know where to go to get my meal. And so I don't have to go find it and copy and paste. One of the kind of handy things about this is if you want to repeat a meal, you can just come over here. Like, I don't know, you saw I click on the event itself, come over to options, hit duplicate, and then just come up over here to change the date now to July 4th. And then that will be the new date for this event, and the link for the recipe itself is here still. Hit save. And boom, it puts it on July 4th. And so now I have this meal repeated with the info still there. So that could be handy for, like, if you're having something that does have a link, like you are not, it's not your recipe that you have on hand, or if it's something where you just put a whole bunch of notes right there and you want to save it for some reason, you can just duplicate it and it will be there. If I wanted to duplicate it for every single day of this week, which I kind of do, but I won't, I could do that if I want to. So anyway, I just wanted to show that little kind of logistical fun tip for meal planning on Google Calendar. And I'm going to go ahead and work on filling the rest of this in and talk a little bit about this stuff in just a second. One more tip. I talked about this in a day in the life video, but those are really long, and I know that not everybody sees those. So you go click on the link for your recipe. This is an excellent recipe. And as usual, and I understand people need to make money with ads. Obviously, I've got ads on my videos too, but you know, I purposefully don't put them in the middle. I don't make them like invasive, like see all this stuff. You see it popping up. You have to close 10,000 things every single time you go to look at a recipe, and it becomes kind of, you know, invasive almost, like it's just super annoying, and you're just trying to look at your recipe, and then God forbid your screen go dark, and then you have to restart it, and then you're back at the top, and then it all starts again, right? So one of my tips, if you happen to be looking at a blog that has a recipe or has a link, that says print recipe, if you hit print recipe, typically you will be taken to a page that is ad free. Sometimes there will still be an ad, but it'll just be like over here. Typically speaking, you're not going to be dealing with nearly as many annoying, awful ads on the print recipe page as you are on the main recipe page. And so, yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I bet you I could turn this into the link on the recipe, and then not have to deal with it at all. But just as a tip, hit print recipe, and a lot of times you end up with a much easier thing to deal with. And this works on your phone as well. Okay, let's talk last week really fast. Chili and mashed potatoes did not happen. We did such a good job of using up all of those potatoes we needed to use up last week that I did not have enough mashed potatoes or enough potatoes left to make mashed potatoes on Thursday night. I am very disappointed. I think some of you were looking forward to seeing our oil-free mashed potato video. That can still happen. It's just not happening right away. And I was looking forward to showing how I take the leftover mashed potatoes and turn them into gnocchi. So eventually we are going to get those two videos hitting the channel. But I just wanted to point out that even when stuff doesn't work out, I'm not going to delete the tasks related to the meal, because that helps me with future planning. I can still know, okay, when I'm making chili and mashed potatoes, I need to soak my steel cut oats, which is how I make my oat milk for the mashed potatoes. And then I need to make some black beans. And then the day of, for mashed potatoes, I need to do a batch of peeled Instant Pot potatoes. I'm going to go ahead and mark these completed. I did actually do my black beans, but I never got in here to mark my tasks as completed. Also on Friday, we had a snafu with the pizza. The cheese that I started on Sunday did not work. It's the first time ever that my cultured cheese did not turn out. It grew mold. And so I have no idea what happened. I was thinking, it's because I'm trying to film it, isn't it? That's what happened. It's like, when your kid is doing a million cartwheels or some amazing gymnastics trick, and then you suddenly turn a camera on them, and then they just stand there picking their nose. And you're like, what the heck? And so that's basically, my cheese is just standing there picking its nose. And so that's what happened. I did not have my cheese for my pizza. And then Thursday, I just didn't get the dough ready. There was craziness on Thursday, and then Friday too was just kind of like a day. And so we decided we wanted to still have our pizza, so we ended up just buying pizza that night from a local place that does vegan pizza. Actually, we just did Whole Foods. It's pretty inexpensive for what you get. You get pretty huge pizzas for not very much. You can call and order them, and they have vegan cheese and all of that. So just, I try to make most of our meals for both health and budget. But sometimes it doesn't happen, and that's okay. So anyway, we ended up buying our pizza, and it was good. And honestly, it's funny, I don't feel like it was as good as the pizza that we make at home. So I'm going to really work at making sure that we get a good cheese this week. I'm starting a new batch, and hopefully that one turns out. I did talk I am filming this on Saturday. I am making this. It's going to cover us for our lunch today and an early dinner. We have a very busy night. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much about that. I talked about it last week. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into what we're actually doing for this week and what I have in mind for this week when I'm creating this meal plan. Right. I have shared before, but I'll share again for anybody watching for the first time. We have assigned certain things to the days for our meals. So day 1 is always a dump and go instant pot recipe, or Monday is always a dump and go instant pot recipe. Tuesday is always some kind of baked pasta, actually usually lasagna, but we've switched it up sometimes. Wednesday is soup. Thursday is International Day, and thank you to Kathy F in the comments for helping me figure out what the heck I was calling this day. And then Friday is pizza day. Saturday just sort of ends up not really having a theme. It's just sort of like whatever I think will work with whatever day we have going on. Usually something that maybe can take some effort, but not a ton of effort. Again, just sort of depends on how I feel. Saturday is kind of our most changeable day. Like, this is the one that most frequently does not happen the way that I plan it. But, I still put a plan in place just in case. But like I said before, I am going to restart some cheese. So that's going to happen tomorrow. Because like I said, I'm filming on Saturday. So tomorrow, Sunday, I'm going to start a cheese tomorrow. Monday, I like to be a dump and go instant pot recipe because I don't like doing food prep on Sunday. I like for our Sundays to be free, for me to just be with family and not have to think about it. Sunday is also just like a day that we take we just grab food. It's not something that's like planned. Usually there are leftovers to use up. Or whatever. We just sort of do easy meals on Sunday. Typically, if we eat out on Sunday, although this last week we ate out, Friday night we got our pizza. So probably this Sunday, this Sunday we will not be eating out. So we'll figure something out at home. We always have stuff on hand to make fast meals. For me too, just in general, pasta is a super fast meal. You dress it up however you want, and you have usually meal on the table in like 20 minutes. It's super awesome. So anyway, Sunday I purposefully don't plan because I don't want to, and I just want to be free. So that's also why Monday typically is a dump and go recipe, because I don't want to have to think about prepping anything on Sunday, except for I am doing a cheese, but this is not a big deal. This doesn't take very much time at all. And so Tuesday, I also know, because of the fact that Monday is the 4th of July, same thing. I don't want to be thinking about having to do a whole bunch of meal prep for Tuesday. So Tuesday is going to be a very easy meal as well, or something at least that doesn't require any prep. So I am going to do a baked pasta. I've shared on the channel before. I don't know what happens when you take 1 pound of pasta. You just sort of cook it until before it's cooked, like 2 or 3 minutes before it's cooked. Mix it in a 9x13 baking dish. This is 16 ounces of pasta, by the way. In a 9x13 baking dish with a sauce. Bake it for 20 or 30 minutes at like 400 degrees or whatever in your oven. Pull it out, and that same pound of pasta that your family would have blown through and then still been hungry somehow becomes a meal that will last you, like, you'll have leftovers for lunches for like 2 days. I have no clue what happens. You get full when you eat it. It is literally the same amount of food, but some sort of weirdness happens in the oven with this. I jokingly call it my TARDIS pasta because it's like bigger on the inside somehow. And so that's what I do to make it stretch. And so sort of as a tip, baked pasta, if you want to stretch your pasta, I have no idea why it works, but it does. And so actually this is an old task. Let me take this off. I was going to do chili mac here, but then I realized we're going to end up having pasta 2 days in a row, and I don't really want to do that. So I was going to make black beans, but now I'm not. So sambar masala, I'm giving myself a really easy week here. Sambar masala is like a vegan, or not a vegan, but it is usually vegan, but it's an Indian vegetable soup. And so I have like veggies in my fridge. I've got eggplants coming in from my garden right now. I've gotten various peppers. I've just sort of got kind of like random vegetables around. And so I want something that can help me use that up. So this will be my random vegetable use up meal for this week. And so we love sambar masala. It's a deliciously flavored soup. And so that's just sort of what I'm going to do for that day. It's a vegetable soup. So I also know I need to make some sort of bread on hand. If I don't have sourdough made, I will make a batch of the Jacques Pépin Tibetan flatbread. And I don't know if you can find the recipe online or not. Give me a second. Yeah, you can find it. Here it is. Jacques Pépin Tibetan flatbread. This is a recipe I've been using for years. Like years and years and years. I learned it relatively early in my married life. I'm very grateful. So for random meals, like if I don't have bread, this is a great one to do. Oh, for the love of Pete. And so here. Oh no, they don't do a special separate page. Oh, mean of them. Anyway, it doesn't always work. But basically, it's a super simple recipe. I use whole wheat flour. I don't usually use any oil. And then I also add like a ton of garlic and spices and stuff. I need to do my own. I think I have changed it enough that I could do my own, but I bake it on a pizza stone. Oh my gosh, it comes out so good. And so that's kind of my go-to super fast bread recipe, like if I don't have bread. So there you go. That's free. But I have my own version written down in my recipe box. But I just know, just because at this point, I don't know, like write it down, because at this point I know like the sambar masala is not a very hearty soup. And so I will include something like a bread on the side or something. Anyway, okay. Mung bean curry and rice. It's the same thing. I don't have to have like any prep for that. That's kind of a dump and go instant pot thing as well for our international night on Thursday. But I will be ending up making a pizza dough on Thursday this time, I hope, also along with our cheese for our pizza night on Friday. And then next Saturday I have planned to do like a chickpea burger thing. So I just need to make some chickpeas on Friday. And there we go. Also thinking ahead a bit, I really would like some more lasagna. We haven't had lasagna for a couple weeks now and I kind of miss it. So I want lasagna on Tuesday. So I'm also like, even without writing it down, sort of planning ahead thinking, I'm going to need hummus on Tuesday for my lasagna. So let me make a batch of chickpeas this Friday, make some chickpea burgers, and then also end up making some hummus for lasagna. So sort of thinking ahead. So like even just planning your days out can really help you with planning ahead, even if you haven't actually written it down yet. But that's why that's like that. So my next little tidbit for this time around, and sorry if it's TMI, but guys might want to check out at this point if there are any men watching. This is more for the ladies, and specifically ladies of, younger childbearing years, if you still have a cycle. Another reason that I've made my meal plan this week in particular very easy is because I do track my cycle. I have tracked it for years. I know at which point in my cycle I have my hormonal dips, which can create sort of feelings of stress and overwhelm. Also sort of feelings of tiredness that can happen at certain points in your cycle. And so for me, it is like clockwork. And so I actually, weirdly enough, when I am actually on my cycle, I feel usually pretty great. There's a certain week, it's the certain week in my cycle, just with the way my hormones go, that I end up feeling, again, sort of stressed. I can feel overwhelmed and I can feel very tired. And so that is this week for me. Lucky me. But sort of knowing that ahead of time also allows me to plan for making things like easy on myself, to not have to think about it, most of the time, all of these things, again, are things that I can just sort of throw together. It looks like Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday are all just kind of dump and go instant pot nights. And then Tuesday is also just really easy, like a pasta thing. So I thought I would mention it, not because I'm trying to be like, I don't know, shocking or like TMI or anything like that, but just because I think that especially as women, we would be very well served to track that and know exactly when those times are, because I believe all of us, well, the vast majority of us, right? Like if we're healthy, if we do have that cycle, the vast majority of us can benefit from this information. So anyway, I just thought I would mention that because it is something to keep in mind. And yeah, definitely keep track of that if you haven't ever kept track of that before, and hopefully help yourself as you move forward in your life. There's no reason to make things harder on ourselves than we have to make them, and so when I have that coming up, I'm all about push through and adapt and overcome and all of that, but this is part of how I adapt and overcome during those times when I know that I'm going to have a harder time, to just sort of make a few things easier on myself. So anyway, I guess that's all. So I hope that was helpful. If you want to keep seeing my meal planning videos, just please let me know down in the comments below. I don't know how useful this is, but you can let me know. And I guess that's, as always, I hope the rest of your day is good and your life stays wonderful. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.